Howdy, welcome to go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
All right, you go in, Tony.
Good. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead radio show. You're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
They suck.
funny. You're the best. You're hysterical. Tony, you're a phony baloney. Listen. All right, I'm going to write Tony a song right here. Ready? Tony. He's full of baloney. Tony, come on, man. Help me out here. Tony, don't get emotional. Tony, I love you. All right, Mr. Walker. All right, because of all this bullshit with Tony Walker, I'm losing people as we sit here. I'm watching the numbers go. All right.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Diane's here.
Yay.
Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Show. Oh, we got a lot going on today.
We do.
Hypnotist John Cerbone is here. He is here. He just had to run out to his car. But he's coming back. At least we hope he is.
He'll be back. Oh, he'll be back.
We're going to have some fun with him today. Thanks for joining us. Please share the link to this show on all your socials. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here at Gov's Comedy Club. Especially, here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. And the club, too. Govs.com, Gov's Comedy Club Podcast on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for joining us today here on the Knockem Dead Comedy Show. Before we get to John, well, especially since he's not here yet, I have to talk to the lovely Diane.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you looked when you got here, when you pulled up in the parking lot. I've had the car not even 2 weeks.
What'd you do?
And I already smashed it up.
You did?
Well, I didn't smash it up.
You know what? I just kind of pulled up and raced in, and I didn't even notice.
So I had the left foot pedals put in.
Okay.
And what they did was so a left foot pedal, basically they're taking the gas pedal is on the other side of the brake, and you hit it with the left foot, and there's a little bar that goes across the floor, and it comes up, and then it runs against the actual gas pedal and gas pedal and pushes it down.
Mm-hmm. You don't want a gas pedal.
Oh, I do want a gas pedal. I'll take a gas pedal, but any type of gas is good. So, but what they did was they put it really close to the brake. So, like, I was having trouble, figuring out which was which, or I was slipping. So, sure enough, I'm pulling into a parking spot at Stop and Shop, and my foot came off the brake.
Slipped, yes.
But not only does it slip, but it slips onto the gas, so it pressed it down. And this car, in fact, the guy that put in the left foot pedals even said to me, he was this thing, like, it really has pickup. You just tap the gas, and this thing's moving. I was like, yeah, I noticed that. So when I hit it, I just, bam, I smashed right into the cement. You know, you got the light pole and the cement base. I just smashed right into it. I was like, son of a bitch, I've had this car for not even 2 weeks yet.
That's so sad.
I was pissed. Do you guys have a shop department? If I, like, because I'm hoping,
shop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do? All right, because I'm hoping maybe it could just be, like, hammered out or something. Because it's not that bad, but the trunk, it kind of sticks up. Like, I have to keep closing it.
The trunk or the hood?
The hood. Sorry, I said trunk. I meant
Yeah.
hood. So I'm getting all flustered just talking about it.
Oh my!
Because I was pissed.
Oh my! Goodness.
Yeah, ruined my whole weekend. I was not in a good mood all weekend. Yes.
Tony.
What kind of car is it?
A Subaru Forester. It's a lesbian car.
No, it's not.
Well, that's what I've been
great
told.
Car.
It is a great car.
Until you smashed it.
Well, yeah.
I had a Subaru years ago, back in the 80s, my first new car.
Oh, wow, that's a long time.
And there was a spot when I used to go back to Williamsburg where I had an apartment by where the World's Fair used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, by Shea Stadium.
Where it was, the asphalt was cracked like this, so you'd be doing Dukes of Hazzard stuff, leaping into the air. And that car was not meant to be leaping. Mm. So landing on the ground a lot with that car kind of shook it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I sold it to somebody who demanded they had to have that car. No matter what, that was the car they had to have.
Really?
They bought it, and 3 weeks later, the whole thing just fell apart.
Like my God.
Everything at once just went.
Wow. Did he blame you?
Well, I go to get divorced, and her husband they're not married, they were dating back then, is a process server. And I'm out doing a show. And he had shaved his head and grown a beard, and I didn't know who he was.
Oh, sounds
and
like
he
me.
walked up to me and he went, John Cerbone, and I got into this martial arts pose. I was going to kill him because it's 12:15 in the morning in my driveway in the dark, and there's somebody who knows my name and is not identifying themselves. And when he saw I shifted my body position to kill him, please don't kill me, Nancy and Nelson. She put your car. I'm like, so what does that have to do with anything? He was so shaken. He was almost crying. I sat him on the curb. I'm like, can I get you a glass of water?
Oh, God.
Are you okay?
Jeez.
And I said, you want to come in and sit down? No, it's good. I really always liked you. I'll call you up. We'll hang out. That's
wow,
like 17 years ago or something.
Still waiting for the call.
I haven't heard from him since.
Do you need martial arts? If somebody jumps you can't just go, sleep!
I can.
That
Because
seems like so much less work.
it is, but the other way is a lot more rewarding.
If I had a choice.
Yes. Yeah, beating somebody up. Yeah, it's just it's a stress reliever.
I
I wouldn't
grew
be
up
able
in
to do that
Brooklyn.
to you. Sleep.
I do that to you.
Well, it's interesting when
I set myself up for
Yes,
that.
you
I'm
stopped by
sorry.
a cop if I'm wearing out of the shirt that I came in to Transmaster. What's that mean? I'm a professional hypnotist. Are you trying to hypnotize me? I said, I don't try to hypnotize anybody. If I want you out on the ground gurgling and happy,
Oh, boy.
that's exactly what you're
I'm
going
a
to be.
little nervous.
Yeah,
today.
so am I.
You kind of took me by surprise today, Tony.
Oh,
I feel
yeah?
like I've been set up.
I only use my powers for good. It's a valet.
I really
Well,
should
it'll
check
be
my
good for me.
Facebook. I would have known.
You would have. Yeah, I posted it
I know,
last
I'm
night.
sorry.
Yeah.
I just don't really do that much. But I usually on Tuesdays I try to make a point to do it just to kind of see what's up. But today I had some things to do, and so I didn't.
Are you able to hypnotize somebody through the internet?
Yeah, I have.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah, South America, Australia.
What, like on a Zoom or something?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I was joking.
I did it with a female celebrity that I trained from the soap operas. We're not live now, so I can talk.
No, we're on.
live.
We're
Oh,
on.
yeah? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
We started while you were out. Sorry,
Okay,
I thought you realized that.
All
Sorry.
right, no, I'm just joking.
He's got the
Oh,
headset.
he's joking.
Oh.
But
He hypnotized me. I bought
trained
that
a female
joke.
celebrity that had been married to David Hasselhoff, one of his ex-wives, and she was a soap opera actress.
Oh.
And when she got to Las Vegas, her life was starting to go sideways, and she said, "Put me out." And I said, "There, my fingers sleep." She just dropped like a rock.
Jeez.
Yeah. So,
Is that the one who just died?
No.
Oh.
Not to my knowledge. If she's dead,
One of his ex-wives just died.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
thought
hear
they
it.
said she was an
I didn't know
actress.
she was sick, but it's an old joke, but really bad one, right? but basically, no.
Well, let me give you a proper introduction
Yes,
here.
we didn't introduce
Ladies
you.
and gentlemen, hypnosis megastar John Cerbone, the trance master, who you can see this May 10th. That's this Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, this Saturday at the Beth Israel on Hilton Avenue in Hempstead. Showtime is 8 p.m. Now, what were we saying before we went on the air? You can't get tickets through your site, or they
You
can?
have to order tickets in advance.
I have to order tickets in
okay.
advance and not selling tickets at the door because they have to have accounts. They're going to have food and other things there as well. So
all right.
it's a fundraiser.
So to get all their information, and we'll repeat this throughout, hypnosisstageshow.com and hypnotistpro.com.
Well, they're connected together. Hypnotist
Oh, okay.
Pro is the clinical site where I help
okay.
people quit smoking and
Okay.
lose weight, stop chasing cars, whatever they're into.
Stop chasing cars.
This is a comedy thing, so
Yeah. And, all right, so that's interesting you say that because when I was, I think, 16 or 17, I was hypnotized, but it was just strictly as a relaxation exercise. Like I wasn't completely out, but I was definitely.
You felt that it was something, though?
I was.
Because I'm one of those people, I don't think you could hypnotize me.
Oh, is that right?
Not that it's a personal
Oh, so now
challenge.
you're setting this up.
Not
We
that-
got to
I'm
do
not trying
this.
to challenge you, but I just don't. I don't see it happening.
Well over 350,000 people later saying
I'm
the same
sure.
thing.
I'm
Here
sure.
I am.
Well, I'm
Right.
ready to find
so-
out.
All right,
I'm ready
so-
to be proven wrong.
All right, so we're going to hypnotize
400,000
Diane.
people approximately.
I bet.
I've been at this since I'm a little kid. My dad was a New York City policeman, and he used
very
to take
nice.
his work home emotionally. And at 3 years old, with the screaming and yelling and upset about his day, I didn't want to hear about it anymore. I went up into my bedroom and invented a self-hypnosis technique at 3. I didn't know what it was. It was just something I did. I was staring at the ceiling. I was breathing. I zoned out. And then at 5, my parents said, that seems to work for you, even though we think it's a little strange. Teach us how to do it. And I taught them how to do it. So I was teaching hypnosis at 5 years old.
Wow. That's
So in grammar school, high school, and college, I was doing more conversational style, just hypnotizing people by talking to them, calm down, everything is cool. And
no, I'm cool.
I know. I'm just saying, you're like a little nervous before. He's talking.
No.
He said conversational style, but the bottom line is that I've hypnotized probably a lot more than that number that I just gave you, because I was hypnotizing kids in grammar school and high school and college, not to run away from home, or in later schools commit suicide in some cases.
Yeah.
And they weren't kids that were like right here. They were kids that I was in school with, like off to the side. They just felt somehow I could help them. And was it every week? Sometimes. Was it every month? Sometimes not. It depended upon what was going through the world at the moment, you know? And I have helped a lot of people just talking to them over the years this way. So I've also written 4 best-selling clinical books for the people who are clinical hypnotists that are watching this.
Yeah.
And I studied stage hypnosis. It's got to be about 34, 35 years ago or somewhere in that range. I was out here in Long Island someplace at a hall giving a lecture on hypnosis. And this triad of people, it was 2 men and a woman, walked up and she said to me, we just did our fundraiser last week for kids with cancer. Can you come and help us? I said, you mean like a lighthearted lecture demo? And she was like, no, one of those funny comedy shows we saw on the cruise ship or in college or in high school or whatever it was. So I went, there was a class that was coming up. I said, let me jump in on that. And I love comedy. I was doing my Dangerfield for you earlier.
Yes, spot on.
Yeah, and I wrote some jokes for his act that we used. Some of them get a little naughty. I don't know how far we can go here.
You go as far as you want.
But frankly, that got started too because my father was sick with cancer later on. And the only way to get him to laugh was that. And I had a job where I was selling video cassettes wholesale to like stores in New Jersey, other people like Brooklyn, Queens. I was the top salesman.
Yeah.
And whatever it was in the company. And they cut my territory through politics. And within 2 months, I was the top salesman again. And the only way to get the shipping department to shake a leg was to get up and do Rodney impressions on the phone and get them to laugh. Because if they were laughing, they do anything you wanted.
Absolutely.
Right, that's true.
And if they're not laughing, they sit there and it's like, I'm not working for you or anybody else.
Right.
So with the show stuff, I took the training, I started to do the shows, and I haven't looked back since. I love doing the shows.
So, talking about smoking and helping people, do you ever like go back and check to see how, or do they reach out to you to say, like, hey, it's been 15 years since I've had a cigarette. Thanks to you.
They refer people over the course of years to me, and I have some fun experiences too. Like I'm at a mall, and I'm about to go, say, in a couple of months to a conference, and I'm looking at the shirt, and I'm like, that's a little jazzy. I mean, I like to wear a little jazzy stuff. Father's side of the family's Italian. It's genetic.
I hear you.
Can't help it. It's the law, and I don't want to. It's just the law. You got to do it.
It's in the DNA.
Yeah. So. One time I was looking at a window, and it was one of those malls with the cutouts from the second floor to the first. You can look down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm looking at this shirt, and I'm thinking, do they have my size? Can I wear this? There's no price on it. One of those stores, like it is whatever it is when you come in. They think what you're worth. They're going to charge you.
Exactly.
And this guy walks up behind me and grabs me by both shoulders from the back. Now, being a New Yorker, my first reaction is put a thumb in his eye. Heave ho over to the first floor, down from the second floor.
Yeah.
Have a cousin who said to me, punch first, ask questions later.
Yeah,
Plenty of time for questions afterwards. Like, who are you? But I relaxed and I looked at the reflection in the glass and he looked vaguely familiar. And he said, I spun around. He said, I love you, man. You did me 15 years ago. I said, no, sir, I hypnotized you 15 years ago.
Right.
That's extra money, whatever that would be.
And you'd remember that even better.
I don't take checks at that price point, But bottom line was that he said to me, I've sent you all these people over the years. I haven't picked up a cigarette since. And there's been some funny stories, too.
Good.
Oh, sure.
That's great.
That is great.
I was working out of my home, and I had a tenant in the basement. And one morning, I'm sitting there on a Saturday about 9 in the morning, and I open the door. I'm like, there's a doorbell. Why are they knocking on the door? Piano delivery. I thought it was a candid camera. I'm looking like, where's the camera, And it turns out she was trained by her grandmother at a young age to play like Fleur Elise or some classical piece like that on the piano.
Yeah. And
grandma was turning 80, so she wanted to practice up on the piano. And like, why you didn't rent a keyboard or something which was portable beats me. But she had an upright piano delivered into the basement apartment. Yeah, which I don't know how they got it to this day. I don't know. A shoe on, Vaseline around the door frame, something. And she would start playing this song over and over again. So this woman came in and she was like a 15th generation referral. It was like a friend of a friend of a friend quit smoking. And you could tell by the body language, this woman was resistant. So I'm getting this business, I've been working out, so a little harder to do these days with that, than it was a few months ago. But she's sitting with the arms crossed and the legs crossed. I know this worked for everybody else, but it's not going to work for me. I know my friends succeeded, but I'm not like them. I'm a different person, all this other stuff. And I said, just sit in the chair and relax. And they put her into hypnosis. And as I start to do the hypnotic process called an induction, which induces hypnosis, a word invented by James Braid, a Scottish physician back in the 1800s, I'm like two or three sentences in and the music starts playing. So I do what every professional hypnotist does. I get louder and more articulate. And take another deep breath and relax. You know, and I'm beyond my hypnotic voice, which is different than this one a little bit. And I'm doing all this stuff. And and she had a diesel BMW, an old one.
Wow.
So as I'm bringing this woman out on a 10 count, I'm about at 3 or 4, I hear the piano stop. By about 5 or 6, I hear the door close. By about 7 or 8, the diesel motor starts and she drives away.
Which is louder.
Yeah, and the woman comes back from hypnosis. She says to me, I know I'll never smoke again. And I said, really, what happened? The most beautiful music in the world happened. I have never heard music that gorgeous in my entire life. And when you were slowing up at the end to bring me out, I said, yeah, it stopped. I know I'm never going to smoke again. I said, good for you.
Wow.
And she never smoked again.
Never hurts. See?
Yeah, see, if you have to work within the streams of
premise.
consciousness,
Right.
you do what you got to do to make sure that they get across the line. But a lot of people came after that were referred by her, and they never heard any music. I've often thought about putting a button under a table or something.
To play something,
yeah,
right?
Once on, once off or
Wow.
something.
Wow.
And the show experiences are a lot of fun, too, because I live for doing the shows. I was in college, and I took acting classes in college, and I wound up working for the speech and communications department with this mouth going, you know. And I got the Irish side of the family too with the gift of gab, you know. I was in Ireland at an inn, and I said to the woman, I want to go kiss the Blarney Stone, so I get the gift of gab. And the lady who owned the inn said,
You don't need it.
She said to me, son, you've already got it. You don't need it anymore. You're fine without it. Don't kiss the filthy thing. Anyway, so I studied, and I was in some plays, and I won a 4-year scholarship to the Actors Studio to go study under Lee Strasberg.
Wow, very nice.
My father, I thought it was. And when I came home and I mentioned it to my dad, he had a gun on his head being a policeman and went, actor, really? So that was kind of the end of that at that moment, you know, before getting shot or something.
He didn't bring Millie Markman in to hypnotize you out of the acting thing?
I could have actually I hypnotized him later in life when he had cancer, and I was helping him manage his pain for the cancer. He brought his brother with him because he was afraid I would, I don't know, maybe get even for the way I was treated, you know, growing up, and being very polite about this. And his brother went into hypnosis faster than he did.
Oh.
So he said to his brother, how did I do, Joe? I don't know, Tommy, I went out with you. You know? And
Oh, so that happens? If you're
collateral, yeah.
Like I could just be watching you hypnotize Diane and it'll affect me too. And wow.
It can happen, but I'll try and rein it in a little bit so it doesn't rain onto you too much. But the bottom line is that it's about deep relaxation. It's between hypnosis, if you think about it, is between awake and asleep. You go through it to fall asleep. You go through it to wake up. And at least 5 more times. 5, count them 5. So it's basically 7 times. You think that's easy to learn. It's not. 7 times a day. The more intelligent, stressed out, or creative, the more hypnotizable you are. So if either one of you are stressed out, intelligent, or creative, you know, we've probably got a shot. If you're missing on all of those, like a lot of times I'll go into a club or I'll go into a show someplace. Anybody here intelligent, stressed out, or creative, and I get nobody raising a hand, I'm like, good night, everybody. You know, because
I can't work under these conditions.
Get my agent on the phone. Where is Mr. DeMille? You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or what was that, Swifty, I think it was. Years ago, there was an agent in Hollywood that was representing Fogarty. He had a guy, he called him Swifty.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so whatever that was. But I know all this weird trivia stuff.
Yeah,
I don't mind like that. But
that's good, because we're playing Tuesday Trivia later.
Yeah, the show stuff is really fun because there's always something that happens in every single show I do that I don't expect to happen because we're dealing with people's subconscious reactions to suggestions I give them. So because of that, you never know what's going to happen. So I was doing a show, I don't want to name drop, but I was doing a show for a major media mogul who's discovered all these famous singers and bands and all this stuff. Very, very famous person.
I saw that on your website.
Yeah, and I did 3 shows for him in the last 15 years. He's worth like billions of dollars.
Oh,
he can hire anybody.
Yep.
And he said, you're the only hypnotist I'll ever work with. And he said to me, you got real talent. And I was doing the old Fred Sanford, you know. And I'm like, can I write that down? He's like, I said it for a reason. Write it down before you forget it. And I wrote it down. And then it became what's on the website. But I was doing a show one time, the second show for him. Now, you'd imagine a person with this kind of background would have a great sound system in the house.
Right.
And he's got 2 houses on some property upstate. And one more gorgeous than the other. And of course, he didn't have a sound system, so I had to bring mine. And the first year, it didn't work out too well. And the second year, it worked out a little bit better. So we had a smaller show the second time around. So maybe I had 20 people in the room, and I put out 3 chairs because not many people wanted to volunteer. So I had a man and a woman and a man. And the woman in the middle was one of the most beautiful women I've ever laid eyes on in my life. She was like front page of a fashion magazine, supermodel gorgeous, this woman. I don't know what her name was, but like I know what she looks like, and I ever see her again, she's getting hypnotized the second time. But I said to her, as a suggestion for this show, on the count of 3, you're flirting very heavily with the hottest person in the room. Don't get out of your chair. She decided to ignore that don't get out of your chair part and jumped up and got me in a bear hug with her legs and with her arms around me and started sticking her tongue in and out of my ear.
Oh, my God.
And I was laughing for like 35 seconds, which in front of an audience is a long time.
It is. That's
It seems like 35 seconds. I'm seeing 35 seconds. It's pretty quick. When I'm laughing and I can't breathe and there's tears running down my face and I'm thinking, this could be worse. No, it was worse. I used to be married once. This is much better than that was, And I'm thinking, okay, I'll give you 3 hours to stop doing that.
Exactly.
And I got an ear on this side too, just in case everybody's mentioning things, But I've had my moments, I did a show one time for a group of people who were from India, and wonderful, nice family, and it was outdoors, and it was a campground, and it was pouring rain, like the kind of rain where you're following the guy in front of you, like Top Gun. You're the wingman. They go into the wall. You go into the wall. You can't see the road. The wipers are on high. It's useless. And I get there, and the whole family is under this giant tent. And I said, where's the show going to be? And the lady says, over there. I said, that's soaked. Oh, the Lord will provide. And like 5 minutes later, the rain stopped. So she must have known something I didn't.
Yeah, right.
And as I'm doing the show, it starts to pour rain again. Now I'm soaked right to my clothes, my underwear, everything. I'm drenched.
Wow.
Socks. And I'm doing the show anyway because nothing stops me. I did a show in Manhattan for a corporation a couple of years ago, and I fell on my face. I had a couple of steps to get up on the riser, and it was black. The carpet was black, and my foot hooked under it, and I tripped and landed right on my face.
Oh.
And I came up bleeding, and my thought was, I'm paying by the hour for the parking lot. I'm not going to a hospital. It'll be $20,000 to get my car back. So I finished the show that way. So to finish this show outdoors, the rain stops again. And behind us, a rainbow appears. And these people actually believed I created a rainbow. If I could create rainbows, I'd be the Super Bowl rainbow guy for $5 million a year. And I'd sit there watching cartoons like a moron. You know what I mean? I think those Flintstones are coming back, eh? So I've had lots of fun experiences with reactions. I had a show one time for a college. It was a recruitment drive. And I pulled up in the parking lot outside. I've never seen so many in one place, long distance buses. And it was just hundreds of them. And I go in there and there's like 4,000 people in this auditorium, including the big balcony. And I'm 5 routines off the end of the show, and this kid is very deeply in hypnosis. And I can see by looking at him, he can barely keep his eyes open. I'm getting a lot of this stuff with his eyes fluttering. And I said, I looked at him and he just gets up and he walks off to the stage left side. So I go sleep and they just all kind of tip over, all the people in the show. And he's about to be polite about this, decorate the wall because he had a full bladder. So I grabbed him, he seemed to be right-handed. I'm not stupid. I grabbed him by his left hand. And I said to him, what are you doing? He says, I really got to go. I said, on the count of 3, you're wide awake. I'm making that men's room just in time.
Yeah, right.
Now I walk out and there's like 4,000 people. Like, where did this guy go? What happened to him? And I knew I had the audience in the palm of my hand. And I waited like 3 seconds and I went, he had to pee. And the place went crazy, laughing. So you have to like turn into the wave.
Do you find it's easier to do a show for a smaller group or what do you prefer?
I'm nuts, so I like stadiums if possible.
You like, really?
Yeah, and I've done shows. The biggest shows so far are 10,000 and 8,000.
Wow.
8,000 plus for the Brooklyn Cyclones.
Okay.
Nice.
In Coney Island. And I said sleep, and the whole audience, I had to pre-hypnotize them because it's 2 in between inning segments.
Yeah.
Because it's, it's not Major League ball. And then it was a 45-minute game closer. So I put them between home and third, and, they're pre-hypnotized, so it's pretty easy to put them back out again. And I made some mystical hand gestures for the crowd, or sleep, and they tipped over like dominoes towards the outfield, towards third base. And the whole audience went, oh. Now, if I was Spielberg or somebody who directs large movies, I'd never be able to get 8,000 people to go, plus go at once. And I just smiled, and there I was on the Jumbotron, and I'm like, how big is that Budokan in Japan? What does that hold, 150,000? Or the old Wembley Stadium that you've seen, like the Queen and Live Aid? Like, let's see what we can do with the Isle of Wight Festival. I've seen video of that where there's like, like 250,000 people.
Right.
Like, let's amp this up a little bit. I've done shows in living rooms where I'm dodging chandeliers that people, think of the old SNL bit, you need a chandelier for class in your house.
But let me go back a little bit. What is that? What did you mean by pre-hypnotizing them? What did that?
I can hypnotize people and then keep them in a light state of hypnosis and then put them back in deeper if I have to do that.
Oh, okay.
I generally don't do that unless I'm doing something where it's necessary.
But do they know that, or are they're fully aware when
I
they're?
tell them everything I'm going to do before I do it, so there's no surprises.
Right, but when they're under pre-hypnosis, they're awake and aware, or
It's
no?
what's called waking
It just
hypnosis.
makes it easier for
Waking
you to put them in
hypnosis.
and out.
Like, you know when you zone out and you're kind of walking around like...
Story of my life.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Some years ago, I was part of a Rotary Club for like 10 years. I mean, and then there was just a lot of work. They kept saying, oh, you do a lot of work. Here's more work. And when I quit, like the career day, they put, and the scholarships, they put 2 committees of 8 people to cover what I was doing, which I thought was a little much. I've been doing the work of 16 people.
Right.
And whatever it was. So one time I was in a hurry and I'm running around. I'm like, got to get those checks in the mail. Got to pay the mortgage. Got to do this. And you know when you're running around in a hurry, you leave your keys somewhere and you think somebody stole them, or you leave the envelopes there to mail, or whatever it is, and you can't find them. But I know about that because I'm a hypnotist. And it's called a hallucination. Your mind will hallucinate something to stop you from running around, to get you to sit down and de-stress for a few minutes, to prevent you from having a heart attack or a stroke or any other stressing side factors, not benefits, of running around like a crazy person. So I sat in the chair and I was going to take 3 deep breaths, open my eyes, the checks and the envelopes will be right where I left them. And sure enough, that's where they were.
Wow, that's good.
That is something.
So you can hallucinate occasionally when in hypnosis, but we do it on a level where it's all positive stuff in a show.
Right.
Like people say to me, you know, you get people act like Elvis or Britney Spears or somebody. I'm trying to think who's hot lately. You know, Lady Gaga or somebody. Right. They're not really Lady Gaga. You know, unless I really have Lady Gaga in this show. I almost worked at a club in Manhattan where she worked, but there wasn't enough room for this show. Wow. I said, "Can you move some of these tables? Every table means money here." And I'm like, "The stage is this big. It's like it's like a shoebox."
So let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Wasn't that a famous word from a guy who got put to death? Was "Let's do it"? Wasn't that a famous quote?
Yeah,
all right.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was some person who said that.
I do have one question.
Romeo's watching, so he's going to make sure I'm safe. If anything
I'm
crazy
sure.
happens,
you
know.
Romeo's this will be the quickest he ever moves. He's going to come get you and put you in his basement
I know
while
he
you're
will.
sleeping.
Is that your husband?
No.
It's just one of
my very, very, very dear friend who
who
watches every Tuesday.
Let me explain this a little better to you. So
He
you
defends
understand
my honor.
Yes, he does.
Your ears continue to work. You don't go deaf. You don't go blind. I speed hypnotized somebody at a wedding. It was like, go hypnotize my girlfriend. I said, you first. I hypnotized them. And then she dropped it. She went, ah! I said, what happened? She said, everything went black. I said, did you close your eyes? Yeah. What happens when you do that? Okay. To get you to relax and maybe laugh a little bit. Do you like to laugh? I assume you're at a comedy club.
I'm here.
You probably, I would guess, the odds-on favorite are that you would like to laugh.
Yes.
So does this camera still pick me up if I move towards her physically standing up?
You're going to go to her physically standing up. Give me a second. I'm going to change
Okay, here's what I want you
camera.
to do. Put your imaginary airline safety belt on. Click, click. Put it on. Put it on. Click, click. Tighten her up. Turbulence on the plane. Turbulence on the airline. Okay. Feet are flat on the floor. Now do this. Now I'm just messing with you. Don't do it. All right. And I'm not going to hurt you. I've done this thousands of times. It's like the old guy joke, but the woman goes to the dentist and grabs him a certain place and said, let's not hurt each other. You know that old joke? Uh-huh. Everybody knows that old joke, especially in a comedy club. May I touch you?
Sure.
On the shoulder, whatever. And the wrist. Put your arm over here out of the way. Take all the power out of your arm. Loosey-goosey in the arm. There's the Schwarzenegger, the loosey-goosey. I got people saying to me, can I learn your methods? I said, yes. If I can't do impressions of Schwarzenegger, does it still work? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to stare at my fingers like you're trying to memorize them. I'm going real slow for you today so you're not, in any way. All right? So just whatever my fingers do, stare at them like you're trying to memorize my fingertips and follow with your eyes and your head like I just did. You got it? Mm-hmm. Follow with your eyes and your head. Head dropping down, head dropping down, head dropping down. Sleep. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drifting, floating, dreaming, rocking, relaxing. Heat in my hands, melting away stress and tension from your back. My hands becoming super hot. Releasing stress, releasing tension, making you feel absolutely amazing, truly wonderful and profoundly relaxed all the way down. Super relaxed, every movement of your arm just relaxing you all the way down. Deeper and further and deeper. The deeper you go, the better you feel. Drifting, floating, dreaming. As I start double tapping this area, waves of soothing relaxation flow through your system. You feel like you've had a 9-hour nap, a 7-hour back and foot rub. When you come up, your face will be glowing. You're going to feel dynamite, awesome, on top of the world, ready to thrive, ready to succeed, ready to laugh. When I point at my watch, it'll make you smile, it'll make you giggle, it'll make you laugh like a little girl. You're feeling absolutely terrific. You and I are great good friends when we see each other. All of this is real and true to you, nodding your head, yes, this is real, real, real. Whenever I say sleep, you're right back into hypnosis. 1, 2, 3, wide awake, feeling absolutely amazing. That wasn't bad, right?
No.
Have you seen my funny, funny wristwatch? Would that be funny a second ago? It's funny now, though, isn't it? Funny, funny what? Now, I'm going to show you even a faster way to really freak out the audience. Watch, stare at my fingertip. Fingertip, 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 and sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drifting, floating, dreaming, rocking, relaxing. Every rock, every tap. 85 bazillion times deeper, further, further, deeper. In this moment, as I double tap this area, reverberating waves of relaxation shooting through your system, shooting through your body, making you feel terrific, on top of the world, full of love, full of energy, full of joy, full of peace, full of happiness, full of inspiration for unstoppable, unbeatable success. All things that you put off to the side in your life, you now seize the moment and rise up to take on. Nothing is too big a project. Nothing is too great a challenge. For the greater the challenge, the mightier you become. Every time you nod your head, yes, 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 you're saying yes to your brightest and best, your inner hero rising to the top unbeatably. You feel ready to thrive, succeed, and break through, not because I say so, but because it is in fact true. Every time I point out the color red in this room, all my watch, it makes you smile, it makes you giggle, it makes you laugh, laugh, laugh. You and I, great good friends, whenever we see each other, come up from this and give me a big goofy handshake and start laughing. 1, 2, 3, wide awake. Give me that goofy handshake. See that? What color's on the back of his chair? What is that color he's got behind there? Is that red? What is
Red.
that? It's red. There's the smile. There's the laughter. One more time, I put you out. Just watch my fingers, my fingers, my fingers, and sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drifting, floating, dreaming, and wide awake. 9-hour nap, 7-hour back and foot rub. How you feeling?
I feel good.
I knew that you would. And look at her face. Is she glowing? Am I high on this? Look at her face.
No, you're
There's light
absolutely
coming
right.
out of her.
You're absolutely. Now, do you remember all that or no?
I do remember. It was very relaxing. It was
Really?
kind of like a massage at the nail place, at the nail salon.
Really?
Yeah.
I just got
feel
this
very relaxed.
around Christmas time. Have you seen this? Right here. I had by myself a Christmas present, and I like watches. Now I got like hundreds of them because people keep saying, "Hey, it's his birthday. Buy him a watch." Hey, say, you know, it's Easter. Buy him a watch. It's Christmas. Buy him a watch. Guess what? He changed his socks. Buy him a watch. I could stick you to that chair and you wouldn't be able to get up, but let's get small in here. I don't want to have her tripping on her feet here. You
That's
know?
good. Thank you.
Wow.
And I was going slow because she was nervous. So I'm in a hurry. I've been clocked as fast as 0.2 of a second. In other words, 1/5 of a second. I've been able to put it's on video on my
Yeah.
YouTube. You can actually see me doing it.
Oh yeah, I did. I watched a bunch of the videos.
Oh, you're the one. Thank you.
Right.
I appreciate that. Thanks very much. I think it's 1/10 of a penny a view. So there you go.
Yeah, that's
Hello,
it,
new
yes.
boat. You know. I mean, there you go. I want to buy a BMW so I can drive like a nut on the highways out here too. You know.
So to change what you did, do you have to put her under again?
No, she's just happy and going to be happy. And
Yeah.
Okay.
I have people. I used to.
wasn't like,
I used to carry a funny red pen. It's between awake and asleep. You zone out. It's the same when you zone out driving a
It's
car.
very relaxing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, can I get more specific? I don't like.
Sure, whatever you want.
The watch. Like,
What about it?
Well, everything that you did with the watch, like.
You mean this watch over here?
I just said if I look at it, I'm gonna laugh.
Oh, right.
This watch. He's talking about this one right over here. I love when they try to divert their eyes. This one right here. I used to carry a funny red pen, but sometimes I forgot the pen. Sometimes it'd leak in your pocket.
Right, sure.
It's easier with the watch now. I always wear a watch.
That's a nice watch, so
It is
why
nice.
not
yeah.
show it off?
There you go.
So,
He got collaterally hypnotized. He's
I
like-
know. I'm blown away by what I just saw. Completely blown
Oh,
away
yeah.
by this.
I just did this for a nurse, helping somebody put their aunt in a nursing home or whatever it is, like a rest home thing. And I put this nurse out, and she's like, I kind of believe in it, whatever. Right out she went. And then she came up, she said to me, she was like, you've got an amazing gift from God. I'm like, I always thank God. But, you know,
Yeah.
but there's no complaints or arguments there. But, yeah, I mean, so this is something called speed trance. And I've called it other things in various workshops I've done. But what happened was I was at a convention of hypnotists, and there's more of them every year around the country. There used to be a couple of them. Now there's a bunch of them. And I saw some old timers doing faster hypnosis techniques. Because when I first got trained, it was because I had to get officially trained. I've been doing it since I'm a kid.
Right.
But you need a certificate in order to go into business, different things.
Okay.
So to get certified. So I went up to one of the old timers, and some of the old timers were great people. Many of them are now deceased. That's where Transmaster came from. This fellow Orman McGill, who was probably a saint, said to me, "You need a stage name." And I went to sleep one night, and I had a dream that these two old ladies came up to me at the end of a show and said, "You're such a Transmaster," so I had to put a trademark on it. So, as we say in New York. But with the speed techniques, I asked this one fellow who was kind of a cranky, I'm being very polite using the word cranky, much worse. And he was like this, "You're a young whippersnapper and you don't get to know these things, and who are you?" and all this other stuff. Even though at that point I had a reputation. And now I've created something like 147 of those techniques, and with derivatives, probably close to 180 at this point. Like there's a version A, a B, a C, whatever it is. I was on a radio show with, on ABC Radio with this guy, Frank Morano, who just won a city council seat or something in Staten Island. And I had a bunch of people lined up, and I used a different technique on each one of them. So he interviewed me. We did an instant street show, which is like, if I put you back out again, I could have you milking a cow that's not there, or using a jackhammer, or whatever I want you to do. But and it would be fun, because I would tell you that you'd be feeling really even more better about your life and wonder even more better. Anyway,
that's okay. More better's good.
More better. More
better's better than better.
That's it. Well, you just sleep. Okay, no, just kidding. Don't. But the bottom line is that I did all this stuff, and I did an instant ice cold hypnosis show right on the spot by using speed techniques on 4 different people. And then at the end, there was another interview, and I said, "If you notice, I use a different technique." I noticed that right away. It wasn't the same thing each time. But I did one on the way home from a conference in New England, and I was approaching Mystic, Connecticut, of all places. And I call it my mystical moment. And I was thinking, if I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I add that at the end, I got to go right into hypnosis. And back in those days, Wendy's had yellow napkins, and unlike everybody else, they're complimentary. So you take a few extra for the car.
Of course.
Take a few extra for the car.
Yeah. Right.
So I had a napkin, and I wrote it on the back of the napkin, which I eventually threw away. I should have framed it. And in a parking lot by a convenience store when you came off on the southbound exit of 95. And I tried it 2 days later on a client, and she keeled over on the couch with this big grin. So I logically tried to create more of that stuff. And when you're trying, you're not succeeding. I don't try to put my shoes on, I just do it.
Right.
So I was struggling to do it. And one day I said, "This is stupid." After some months, I'm going to just put myself into hypnosis and create more of this stuff. And now I've just created more and more. And other hypnotists say to me, "Why do you create so many?" Because they can. And because they should be there.
I saw something on your website. Somebody was in a car accident, and you somehow using hypnosis did you get them out of the car, or they were in shock or something, and you kept them at bay until the paramedics got there?
Yeah, I've done that.
Was that it?
I've done that. I've seen kids hit on bicycles, and there's like a good Samaritan law, so you can jump in and help out before the ambulance gets there.
Right.
And I just moved them away from their pain towards, you ripped your pants, and my father and mother used to yell at me when I ripped my pants, and part of the pants is still in the bicycle gear or sprocket or whatever the term is. And
it's amazing.
They were laughing by the time they came there.
Yeah.
Because there was a little girl, she started to hyperventilate. And I've also helped people I'm always sticking my nose in places where, like, somebody's in a car accident and the car's about to go on fire. I've done that too. Where I was driving a client home who didn't have a car. I really step forward sometimes like that for people, not all the time, but when it's necessary.
Yeah.
And I'm looking ahead. If something doesn't look right and you pull over, like, what, something weird is up there?
Yeah, sure.
And she was playing Sudoku in a puzzle book. And I went up there and pulled somebody out of a car that was going on fire, him, his wife, and his little girl. And the wife was like 7.5 or 8 months pregnant. I think she said 8 months pregnant. And she was like, she was starting to go into shock too. And I got her away from that. And comedy is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Because when they're in that level of panic, they're in a state of hypnosis. Right. And they're coming up with all the negative stuff. You want to turn it into a positive experience.
Of course.
Not a car accident, but like you want to get them away from the negative.
You couldn't hypnotize the car to not go on fire?
No, but I got the guy out of the car.
Can you hypnotize the Mets to win more games?
They won last night.
I know they did.
Oh, okay.
I know they did, but I was overwhelmed by the Knicks game. Oh my God.
Did you know that every professional team has an on-call or an on-staff hypnotist?
I
every
knew that.
Professional
Do
team.
they really?
Yes.
Is that
I knew
true?
that. Yes, that's true.
Oh, that's really
And if you go out to California, I found out recently that after years of having police in my family, that, they don't do hypnosis here. I found out from a chief of the police department some years ago that they have trained policemen in New York City that are trained to do forensic hypnosis, which of course is hypnosis on dead people. No, it's not. It's, it's to bring people back to hit and run accidents, crime scenes, license plate numbers, and that kind of stuff. And I've gotten license plate numbers from people.
To bring their memory back up.
Yeah,
Things
and
that they might have.
the guy walked into a store, he had a gun, the lights were darker. Right now, relax, put them into hypnosis. I'm turning the lights up. Oh, we had a scar over here. He had an army jacket. The name was on the jacket.
That's cool.
Whatever it is, you can do that. So,
It's a way to access things in the brain that,
and I've
that
helped,
get pushed
and
back.
I've helped people. I had a guy come in who was a professional baseball player, and his game slumped, and he was a major league player on a clinical end of what I do. And his game slumped, and they dumped him into the minors. He had a couple of houses and 3 cars on credit, and mortgages and bling jewelry on credit. And they dump you back into the minors. You're making like 80 times less than what you were making last week.
Yeah.
And his mother called up in a panic, and she had heard about me, and I wound up hypnotizing him, and he was back in the majors 2 weeks later. And then left that and became a pitching coach. And it's not around here. It's nobody you know. Somewhere else in the country. So I'm not mentioning names. So I'm not breaking any rules.
Right.
But I've done a lot of work to help a lot of people on the clinical end of what I do, including singers and performers. There's some videos on my YouTube page of me hypnotizing opera singers. And they sing much better in hypnosis than they do when they're not in hypnosis. I did a thing called a pervasive echo years ago in Battery Park. And it's based loosely on it's very fictional work. People don't think it's real. Of Svengali and Trilby. It was like some evil hypnotist, It's like Dr. Evil, we have a hypnotist for you.
You need a little handlebar mustache
Is it
to
an
go.
evil hypnotist?
Yeah.
My impression is there. Is it an evil hypnotist? There are no, maybe there's somebody. I haven't met them. And they're kind of repelled by my light and my goodness, I hope.
But when you talk about the opera singers.
Yeah, they sing better because they're relaxed.
Right, so all right, I'm an opera singer. I'm going out in 5 minutes on stage. You then are there, and you put me.
I could.
Or is there something that
I do sessions with them?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So for every performance, they have to, or is there something that you?
I could do a session with them, make a recording, an MP3, with the hypnotic induction, the suggestions I give them that I've written specifically for them.
And then they can keep that and use it.
And then
right, that's what I'm asking.
That was with the baseball player. That's so long ago. It was audio cassettes.
Okay.
Back when we had cassettes. And then,
but that's what I'm saying. You didn't do anything to them, like the watch. Like you didn't do anything to them permanently. You could. Okay. But they're not. The opera singer, the baseball player, they're listening to something that of you to help them just before they have to go
have
out
a private session because I live recorded
private
MP3
session. Okay. Right.
At this
Okay.
point. Back then it was cassettes. I tried to jump over CDs. Those were a nightmare. If you remember, ever tried to burn a CD years ago?
Oh, yeah, sure.
They were a nightmare to burn. It didn't work. It was the wrong format. Who needs this? So now it's all MP3, and most of the stuff I use for my show is in my phone. Mm-hmm. So it's all ready to go, and it's not a big deal. And if it's something I record, I use that phone now. There's an app I like called Dolby On, which is the same Dolby process they use in movie theaters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it takes all the background noise out. So if you use that, and then you got to convert it. It makes it an M4P or something instead of an MP3. Or something like that. Not MP4. It's an MP something. It's different than an MP4, which is video. And I got to convert it so it's an MP3 so their phones like it.
Right.
But I've done that with a bunch of people, and it works. It absolutely works for performance. Better memory and recall for school children. Better memory and recall for actors and singers, memorizing lines for songs or acting performances and things.
And I'm not asking numbers, but to do something like that, that's going to help them permanently. I would think they have to pay for that, and as they should.
Well, they pay something for that, yes.
Well, yeah, but and again, I'm not asking for numbers, but
it's less than $22 million. So,
right.
Like the lottery commercials a few years ago.
But the reason I'm asking is because we have a lot of our viewers are, they want to see me get hypnotized. So my wheels are spinning. We were talking a few minutes ago about left foot pedals and stuff. I'm an amputee. Like was amputated 20 years ago. I have this horrible. There's a million different forms of phantom pain. Some people think they have the leg and they get up and start to walk. Some people think they can still feel it. I just get in my stump. I just get these horrible stabbing pains, and it goes on for. I think the minimum is 4 hours. It's usually anywhere from 6 to 12. It's gone on for 24. I think the worst it's been was 36, where it's almost the whole 36 hours. Or however long it is. It just, it feels like a knife is just going in them to the point I'm in my house. I'm probably freaking out the neighbors because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I mean, it's been so bad that morphine hasn't helped at times. I'm current. I think gabapentin.
Gabapentin.
I have a bunch of that sitting in my house for when it comes back. If I asked you to say, put me under and make it work so that never happens again.
You need a session. You need a full session for that.
That's where I was going. Okay.
You know, I could probably take it away temporarily in a hurry. I could probably take it away permanently in a hurry, but I can't guarantee that.
Well, would it have to be happening at that moment? Or
No.
because there's no rhyme or reason. It just happens.
And how often does that happen to you?
I've had it where the most I've gone without it is 13 months. On the average, it's maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Now, having said that, last year I think it was like maybe 7 or 8 times. Then maybe I think it was 2021. I think I was in double digits. Again, it's random.
And
There's
this
no.
year?
Yeah, so far so good.
Must be me.
Oh, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Without going into too much
You know,
personal
just
detail
saying.
about my own life,
Yeah.
I had some issues with my kidneys some years ago.
Okay.
And I've taken supplements to balance that out now because my body needs to be more basic
Okay.
rather than acidy.
Uh-huh.
I said acidic, and somebody said, "Do you mean Hasidic?" No, I don't.
Acidic. I knew what you meant.
I said this to a rabbi who asked me that. I made a
Right.
joke. But because my body is more alkaline now, I don't have that issue anymore.
Yeah.
But I was going through a real round of that stuff for a period of time. And once I went into a hospital, and I was in agony. And they wouldn't give me morphine for 11 and a half hours for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It was the mayor of New York decided at the time, people are taking too much drugs. So instead of stopping illegal drugs, you're stopping doctors from giving medication, which,
Right.
Right.
gone.
Yep.
Makes no sense. I can't practice medicine. How is somebody else who's not a doctor allowed to practice
Yeah,
medicine?
exactly.
So I control the pain with my mind. I know it sounds very Mr. Spock, but I did. Because pain is a thing of the mind. If you decide to control
do
the pain
believe that.
with your mind, and I've spoken to women who have had that condition as well as had babies, and they said the pain from the kidney thing was much worse than having a baby. So I was able to control it with my mind. And the following morning, this lady doctor walked in and she said, "How are you still alive?" And I said, "Certainly through the help this hospital provided me." And she said, "But you should be dead." I said, "But I'm not." Why? I said, "Because he's not done with me yet, number one. And number two, I'm a hypnotist. Does that work?" I said, "I'm laying here and talking to you, aren't I?"
Yeah. So you hypnotize God to keep you alive. Is
I
that what you're
hypnotize
telling
me. I wouldn't go that
No,
far.
I'm joking.
No, no, no.
God has a sense of humor.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. That it's related to times when you're stressed or
No.
anything like that.
No.
Because gabapentin is kind of it's not really just a pain medication. It's I know they use it. Can be a psychiatric medication as well.
Oh, I did not know that.
So
I'll tell you, when I take it, it takes me a few days to come back to
reality,
being normal.
my normal.
Right.
Yeah, where I feel like myself again. It takes me 3 or 4 days.
I like how you put it, my normal, which is,
Well, I don't want to say back to normal because there's nothing
I
normal
know, but
here.
you're slipping the comedy in there anyway, which is a good thing. It really is. But yeah, I've been able to. I held a woman one time that came in to see me, and again, I need notes from doctors to do this. I can't work behind their back.
Yeah.
I need authorization from physicians that watch over you that it's okay to do this because they're worried about other things that'll creep in,
Sure.
and you're not telling them about it. But she was going through a divorce, and her husband slammed the car door on her back, and he broke like 3 vertebrae.
Oh,
my
wow.
And now that she was divorced, she was laying in bed. She couldn't get up. She couldn't take care of the kids and whatever else. And I did one session with her, and she went back to work the next day.
Come on.
Absolutely.
The very next day?
That's what she told me.
I mean, you said it.
And the doctors call me up, and the doctors are great, but sometimes they're not great on the phone,
Yeah.
And the doctor called up, and this happened a few times to me. "What did you do? What did you do?" And I'm like, "Hello, who is this? What did you do?" I feel like a dog on the couch or something,
right.
Like,
Shit
what
the
did
bed,
you do or something? And I'm like, who is this? If you don't tell me, I'm going to hang up.
Yeah, right.
And so-and-so is my patient, and she told me she's going back to work today. She said she's never felt so good in her entire life. Wow. And I said, as long as you're monitoring what's going on with her back, and you gave me the note, then possibilities are
Right.
limitless.
You keep making your money by monitoring her. Calm down.
Yeah, I guess. But the bottom line is that it's amazing what the mind can do.
Yeah.
Like down in Texas some years ago, there was a fire walking school. It's not in business anymore because the guy is some wealthy investor and he decided to do other things with his time. But there was people there for 4 days. And I walked in and they're like, "You do mind over matter stuff?" I said, "Yeah, all the time. Come up here and put your hand through this piece of wood." I have no training to do this. And I'm thinking all the stuff I've heard over the years.
Yeah.
And it was about 1.5 inch piece of wood, which is probably about as thick as this thing is, this table.
Yep.
And although this is treated, so it'll be a little harder to work with.
Yeah, this is a particle board.
Yeah, and I walked up there in this video. If you type in my last name on my YouTube page and type in boards, Boards, they showed me the guy who owned the place puts his hand through the wood and shows me how to do it. I did it the first time out.
Yeah,
Then
I've done it. Yeah.
Then they asked me to put an arrow shaft up against, not with the arrow head, against my throat, and I talk for a living. And I'm like, are you serious about this? We all did it. And I'm like, well, if you can do it, I can do it. And it didn't snap into two separate pieces, but it cracked into a V shape.
Okay.
Then they asked me to walk barefoot on broken glass. If you type in my last name on YouTube, Cerbone, and type in glass, you'll see me walking barefoot on broken glass. It's slippery, so they hold you by the elbow when you're walking.
Right, to balance.
And yeah, so you don't slide because, like, crawling around in it and walking on it barefoot are two different things. And then that night, they all walked on 1,200-degree hot coals on a lawn, and I did it. And I got to tell you, the glass on your feet, and once you decide it's not going to bother you, and the hot coals on your feet is the very best foot massage you're going to have in your entire life. My feet were never so relaxed as that. And it had rain the night before, so like after you got off the hot coals, there was wet grass, and I was very happy about the wet grass, just in case.
Right.
But I walked like 30 or 35 feet, and I have still shots of that. They wouldn't let you shoot video at night outdoors.
So mind over matter, I totally get it, and I agree with it.
But how does it not cause damage?
Right, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Your feet were still, like, nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
My mother was still alive back in those days, and I called my mother up. I said, guess what I just did? She said, not again. What did you do now? What did you do now? What did you do? Like when you were a little boy, mischief. Now, that wasn't the mischief one. My brothers were the mischief ones. But she had to she's mom. She has to get the word in, Right. So I told her all of that stuff, and I said, there's not a blister, a scratch, or a bruise. And then I told her what I did. And she said, you're perfectly fine? I said, yeah, mischief. The next year I went back down to do a second show down there. And she said, yeah, you were fine last year. So Mom had like a learning curve. Like, yeah, you were good last year, you'd be good this year.
Yeah, right.
Whatever it was. It was mashed up wine bottles, I think the glass was made out of. And it's still, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you're not mind over matter oriented to pull that off. But they took 4 days worth of training. I just walked in.
Right.
I put my bag down, including my suitcase. I had like a prop bag for the show. Occasionally I use like a doll or something or a feather boa.
Where are you from? Are you from here? Or from...
I live in Staten Island.
Okay.
My mother used to say I'm from heaven most days. I was born in Brooklyn, and I lived in every county except Queens. Queens is not the county I've ever lived in.
Okay.
I lived in Williamsburg, which was Queens adjacent.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Queens is too confusing. You got 39th Street, Avenue, Lane, Place, Road, Circle, and they're not near each other.
Right.
And the GPS, I go there, the GPS gives me the finger and shuts off. It's like I got enough of this stuff. Forget you, man. So... but I've lived in the Bronx for a little while.
Okay.
And I went to school and I ran out of food and money up there. Then I went to a better college that was less expensive, and we go from there. What else?
We are talking to John Cerbone, who you can see this Saturday at the Beth Israel, 141 Hilton Avenue in Hempstead. And his website is hypnosisstageshow.com. And then you can also, from that site, find hypnotistpro.com. This Saturday at 8, obviously, you will be amazed. Because there's some cool stuff going on,
and it's fun because if you come with friends to this thing, you might remember like a magician doing a trick or something. And I have a lot of friends and people have trained to magicians to do hypnosis, but when your friend all of a sudden is jumping around and suddenly Justin Bieber, you're never going to forget that for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying? There was a hypnotist in Vegas some years ago who was still doing Michael Jackson after he was dead. And I thought that was dubious because if you're Michael Jackson, it could be jumping around or it could be laying on the ground, solid, like stiff,
Oh.
So luckily he had nobody do that, but that's nothing I do. It's just not my thing.
You were part of, was it MTV where you were talking to these college girls?
Yeah, I was hypnotized my roommate years ago.
Yeah.
MTVU.
Is that like, because you were asking these girls, are you attracted to your roommate? Like, did you
they
feel...
gave me questions. They said, ask these questions.
Yeah.
They told you what to ask?
Right. But...
they were...
Because it doesn't seem like a question you would ask on your
That's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
I
it's like, here's a list of questions. Ask them these questions. So I did a couple of days of shooting with them. One was the University of Florida, and the second one was Susquehanna University in Pennsylvania. If you're a comedy fan, you think of Abbott and Costello.
I was just about to say, I died at Susquehanna Hat Company.
Yeah. Slowly I turned, right? But the dean was there, and some guy thought we were shooting dirty movies in there, and I'm like, dude, the camera equipment says MTV on it.
Right.
Get a clue. And he all of a sudden would sell my friend. I'm like, go away. Just grow up, please. Get out of here. But, it was like a question and answer thing. And they wanted me to do another show for them, and I shot 8 hours with them, and it never went anywhere. It was hypnotizing couples, like to see who's telling the truth. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
And you can't get information out of people.
Who volunteers for that? Well, it's the same people that volunteer for Jerry Springer. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And reality shows. Yeah.
Springer contacted me one time.
I'll bet.
And it was a phone bank of it sounded like one of those when you call customer service and there's 700 people in the background talking at the same time, besides the person you're talking to.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they were like, here's the thing, we moved to Connecticut, and we'll send you a limo, and then you're going to do whatever we tell you to do. And I thought to myself, if I don't, I guess I'm walking home from Connecticut. So, and they say there's no such thing as bad publicity.
I could never work under those parameters.
Yeah, and I think
I'm with you.
Tony says, come over and say whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
That's it.
That works for me.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you a question. How much time do we have?
Look, I think you hypnotized
If I wanted to
All right.
travel at the moon or whatever, I could have suggested that too. But there's no moon outside during
Right.
and we're in the studio. So it's a little
All right. I have a weird question before
I want to ask you a question. What color is that clock up there? Is that red? Go ahead. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
it's red.
Yeah, there you go. Still going. I got people laughing at stuff over 25 years this way since I came up with it.
That is fantastic. I'm completely freaked out by it.
30 years maybe, whatever it's been.
Now you mentioned before the guy who had to run out and pee. So if you're going to do it to me, I do feel like I might. I would normally wait until 12:30 when the show's over, but if
He doesn't want to wet himself.
right, basically, I don't want to wet myself. So should I go pee or is it good?
You're not.
I know it's a weird
Unless
question.
you're like driving for 3 hours.
It's not
And
going to make you pee.
No, but I didn't know if you're so relaxed that
And
it just kind of
if you
comes
jumped up
out.
and had to go, he would let you go.
Well,
You
would I
can
be
go.
that
You're fine.
coherent that I would be able
Yes.
to get up? Oh, all right,
I feel
okay.
like if I needed to pee, I could have jumped up and done it.
Oh, all right, okay.
Okay.
All right.
That was not a concern.
you could have jumped up and
I
sat
did
down and
not
done it, but
feel compromised in any way.
You
I was
seemed
relaxed, but not compromised.
okay.
I
Could you?
I
It
feel
seemed to
I
me like
was
you were.
aware of what was going
Really?
on.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
And we were all commenting too. We were like, "Holy
no
shit!"
reason for concern at all.
Well, no, not a
Yeah.
concern, but it did seem like you were out cold.
People
That's
are
what it
very,
looked like.
cold.
people are very suggestible. Many years ago,
I was awake.
I was at a Strauss store. I think they're out of business now.
Yeah.
And they had a bay where they'd fix your car, and you'd bring your car there. So the mechanic was doing something to my car, and you just touched your mouth like this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And I looked at him, and he went like this. So I looked through he was looking at me, and I looked at him through the glass, and I went like this, and he did it again. I'm going to have some fun with this guy. So then I went, then he starts doing this. Because he's in hypnosis fixing my car. Then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. And all of a sudden, it's like that stuff you see in a baseball game.
Right.
With those
Yeah.
signals and
Right.
doing this stuff. And he started doing the whole thing back, not realizing it. And I figured, I better stop. I need my car.
I was just about to say,
before
3 hours
flies
later.
off or something, or the engine explodes, or some other thing. I inherited a car from my dad when he passed on. It was some Buick. And the car used to turn off on the LIE. I'd be doing 60, 70 miles an hour with everybody else.
Oh my goodness.
And all of a sudden the engine would just shut off. So you got to put it in neutral and do a neutral drop.
Right,
For the
yeah.
car to be drivable again.
Right.
All the power steering is gone. All the power brakes
That's
are gone.
scary shit.
And you're just rolling. Yeah. So turns out it was these 12 little plastic pieces with wires that were sensors for the computer. And I eventually got rid of that car. And another person who bought my car, a used car, and I said, I'm going to get rid of this thing in a junkyard. No, it rides like a dream. And that car lasted like 3 or 4 weeks, and that became cold storage on her property. The winter clothes went in there in the summer, and vice versa.
But all right, I'm thinking I got to learn hypnosis because I'd be like, especially with cars, I'd be like, no, I'm not paying $12,000 for this car. I'm paying $50,000.
There's somebody I trained years ago,
Like
went to a
Obi-Wan
dealership
Kenobi.
and got the guy so low on the price of a new car, the sales manager intervened and kicked him out.
I was going to say,
Really?
you know what? It's not really up to the salespeople. So yeah.
The sales manager walked over and said, "We don't sell cars at this price point. You have to go."
Wow.
So you really shouldn't be using it for that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I don't. But
Yeah.
I have gotten a free dessert at some restaurants.
I love that. Free dessert. What's better
Doesn't
than
love
that?
free dessert.
Because I've hypnotized people and done demonstration stuff.
Yeah.
The waitress come over and it's, could you do something? Because I'm wearing a shirt like the one I came in with before.
Mm-hmm.
It says the Trance Master and has my website on the back.
Yeah.
Can you do something cool? And I'm like, "Ugh," like, no, something hypnosis cool. I'm like, all right. And I hypnotized him, and then the manager comes over. And once in a while, you get kind of a goofy person. I was in a Fridays or a Bennigan's or someplace upstate New York for a Project Grad, those shows where they keep the kids all night, and I'm the last one to go on.
Yep. Mhm.
So you
I've
either
done
start
those.
between 1 or 4 o'clock or 4:30
Yep.
in the morning.
Been there.
That's a grind, man. You get home and you start pulling the same thing you did in college. You wear sunglasses. No, it's gonna be the moon. Look, the headlights are on. You
Right.
start convincing yourself.
Yes.
I bought a house that faces west, so I can go to sleep when those things happen. You know, so it's not eastern exposure and
Right.
the sun coming in the window. So I was there, and some waitresses came over, and I said to the manager, "Is it okay?" And the manager said, "Me first," and then hypnotized the waitress or two. And he had the personality of John Candy in Wally World. The moose at the gate should have told you. He was one of those guys, you know, like this goofy type. And he's like, comes over, he said, "You shouldn't be hypnotizing people in the dining room." I said, "Would the ladies' room be better? The men's room? You tell me."
Right.
And then finally, the New Yorker and me kicked in, because the New Yorker, we get away with some things sometimes as
Oh,
New
yeah.
Yorkers.
Yeah.
I said, "What's your name?" "I'm calling corporate." He walked away from me.
Nice.
You know,
Yep.
because...
I like the way you pointed to.
Yeah, William Shatner, you know? It's you! You know, I was watching that stuff.
Another guy you've worked with.
I didn't work with him. I got to meet him.
Oh, okay. It's on your website, so I just assumed you
I got to
hypnotized
meet him, which was pretty cool. I mean, years of watching him on television, I finally got to stand next to him. And there was a very thin plastic shield between us, because a couple of years ago he was still worried about getting COVID. He's in his his mid-90s at this point, whatever it is.
Right.
And he was afraid of getting COVID a couple of years ago. So I said, "Can I give you a card?" And he went, "No." But the person who was running it was the guy who was interviewing him on stage in that movie theater in New Jersey. They ran Rat the Con, and he was
Okay.
interviewing him about the movie. Gave him my card. So Shatner has my business card. So
nice.
whatever that means. I haven't gotten a call yet.
Right.
Bill, if you're listening, please. You know. I said, "Can I call you William? Call me Bill."
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I can do that. You know, and I don't think you're gonna wet yourself.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. I don't know.
There are electronic
You
pieces
know
of
what? You
equipment
want to
in
switch
here.
seats, or you want to?
That might work.
Be
All
here?
right, all right, I'll
Go
switch.
ahead.
Okay.
I'll
All right,
move
let me.
over. No, I'm gonna move over here.
Let me
I did
move
it.
the camera.
I did live stuff on a radio station in New Jersey that had two frequencies. It was 105.1 and 105.3 at the time,
Right.
and they covered from like Philadelphia to like Westchester, because it was near the Atlantic Ocean. So the signal went out in parts of Long Island too. And there was a morning lady and a morning
Oh,
guy.
you want me to go over there?
I thought
I
that's
get
what
to
we
sit
were
in the control. I was just gonna move over there, but that's fine.
That's fine.
I'm
Star
gonna
Trek,
look
you're
at-
the con, you know?
I'm in control, everybody. Look at me.
But-
I'm like the big boss.
That's it. You know, you're sitting in the captain's chair. So there was video of me hypnotizing the morning lady and the afternoon guy. I had them reading the traffic in Klingon, and I had them. I turned him into a her and her into a him.
Oh wow.
And she said something slightly off key a little bit. Well, we could do a podcast. I turned him into a her, and he's like, "Well, I'm getting my hair done and my nails, whatever it was." And then I turned her into a him. And I said, "You buy the water cooler?" He goes, "Well," she says, "Well, I did her last night." I said, "Sleep. This is a family show.
Oh
You
wow.
can't do this on live radio." And she's still on the radio in New Jersey. I don't know what became of the afternoon guy.
Right.
But the morning guy, somebody with a video camera was in there. It was on YouTube. And that station's out of business, so the clip is gone. But he looked at the camera and said, "I can't believe this." Because I just did it ice cold and turned it
Right,
into an
yeah.
instant show.
Well, will she, when Diane watches back, will she see anything that she didn't realize?
Sometimes they forget stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I can give suggestions that it would be like the Jedi mind trick, you know, you forget everything. But I like them just to remember bits and pieces, and I tell them at the end of a show, like after you wash your face and hands, more of it comes back to you.
Oh.
Whatever your friends talk about, no matter how they put it to you, you know your inner superstar has been liberated. At the end of every show I do, I empower people from the clinical hypnosis. They've had a 9-hour nap, a 7-hour back and foot rub.
Oh wow.
They're ready to thrive, succeed, and break through, move to a new chapter of their life, build a masterpiece chapter of their life, whatever pops into my head. And I've been doing shows in Long Island. Well, so far, 32 U.S. states, Canada, and Europe so far.
Wow. Wow.
Not bad from a kid from Staten Island.
Yeah,
or
not at
Brooklyn,
all.
or whatever I was
Right.
originally. All right, so, okay, so it's okay to touch. You saw what I did with her.
Yes.
Any questions? Safety belt has to go on, so you stay in the chair. Put on your lap. Go ahead. Imaginary inline.
Do
safety
it.
belt.
Okay.
Listen, tighten her up.
Pull it
Tighten her up.
tight.
Tighten up. Tighten it. Turbulence. Tighten her up. Tighten her up. All right, take the power out of your arm. It's out of the way. Loosey goosey. You can see you work out. I got big strong arms. There's the big strong arms there. Ow. That's a word, you know, in Schwarzenegger language. About 7 years ago, his Twitter page reached out to be my friend. Let me do the wiggling so you're safe.
Sorry.
I need to be able to. It's okay. You know, you've done this
realize I
before.
was doing it.
I know. You know. I know. Here's what I want you to do. Stare at my finger with your eyes and your head like this, and let your head drop down. Your ears continue to work. Stare at my finger. Follow my finger. Follow my finger. Follow my finger. Follow my finger. Sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drifting, floating, dreaming, rocking, relaxing. Every rock, every tap, 85 bazillion times. Deeper, further, deeper. The deeper you go, the better you feel. Soothing, healing energies flowing from my hands into your body, to the places that best need it most, to relax your body, relax your mind, relax all that you are. All of you becoming super duper relaxed, getting that arm out of the way, letting the arm just drop down out of the way, dropping that arm down, arm loose and limp, like a wet rag, a wet towel, a dead fish rag. What's a dead fish rag? I don't know. Feeling this wonderful energy shooting through your body. See, you can laugh in this position. On the count of 3, you come back. My watch just makes you crack up laughing. My bracelet and the color red makes you crack up laughing. Imagine soothing energy going through my hands into your body, relaxing you in body, emotions, mind, and spirit, and empowering you to be mighty, mighty on top of the world, thriving, succeeding, breaking through. All barriers that ever stood in your way now dissolve. Not because I say so, but because it's real and true to you. All of this is real and true. Yes, yes, yes. I show you my wristwatch. It's 50 times funnier than she thought it was. 1, 2, 3. Ready to go into hypnosis whenever I ask you to again. Have you seen this? He's doing the same thing you did. He's averting.
I like the sound effect.
It's the old Monty Python thing. I'm averting my eyes, Lord, you know? Would that be funny a few seconds ago? Probably not, right?
Right, true.
Not truly freak out your audience one more time. Put your arm down a little bit. I don't want you hitting your elbow into your ribs.
Okay, got it.
Stare at my finger, drop your head down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drifting, floating, dreaming, rocky, relaxing. Every rock, every tap, 85 bazillion times deeper. Your mind is a powerful thing. Your mind controls your body. In any moment when you start to need it best, you start to relax yourself through slow, steady, deep breathing and visualize moving golden white light energy into places in yourself you best need it to heal yourself, restore yourself, numb yourself, whatever is necessary. All of this is real and true to you. It becomes second nature to you. Tonight as you sleep through the night, happy, pleasant dreams guide your way into a better tomorrow. Tonight as you sleep the following day, you're certain and serene and sure that the best chapter of your life has begun. Big goofy handshake, watch is hysterical, 1, 2, 3, wide awake.
Sound effects is what gets
That's it. Well, I had people say, I've had people contact me. I want you to train me. I can't impersonate Schwarzenegger. Can you do that? But his official Twitter page reached out to me about 7 years ago for friendship. I'm waiting for a knock on my front door. Hello, smartass. Hello, wise guy. Mr. Impression Funny Boy. Open the door. And I'll open the door to be like one red eye and a machine gun. You know what I mean? Like, and I have my cell phone over my shoulder. The Terminator's after me, you know? So whatever that is. I understand he's got a great sense of humor about people making jokes.
Oh,
and
does he?
whatever.
Well, he should.
Right? Yeah.
He needs to have.
He has to, you know. Here's my impression, because it was a comedy thing, right?
Yeah.
Here's my impression of Schwarzenegger and Stallone having enjoyed a big Thanksgiving meal.
Oh, this will be good.
A little too much, right? Here it is.
That's good. That's great.
There's a lot of comedy I throw into the show also.
And you have to, right?
With sticky stuff. I
right.
throw some shtick into this
they
stuff,
love
that
stuff.
The other stuff. And there was a hypnotist years ago that used to be on something called a Lucy show. She was on one of the episodes named Pat Collins. And I swear to you, sometimes I feel like I'm channeling her or something.
Really?
She was very sarcastic. And sometimes from the Irish side of the family, that sarcasm stuff starts to rise out of me, you know? And all of a sudden, there's a couple of like different lines I'll throw in based on that, you know? And it just makes the audience howl because the main thing is to get these people to laugh. What's comedy about? It's getting people to laugh and forget their troubles.
Right.
Whatever's bothering them.
Right.
You know, so whether it's me doing Dangerfield impressions, I'll tell you I'm fine now. You know? What was that joke I just heard recently? Yeah, for Christmas I bought my kid a BB pistol. He bought me a T-shirt with a bullseye on the back. You know? I was talking about something recently. Somebody I knew went to happy hour because she got promoted. And I said, how'd they let you in? She said, why? I said, because you never had happy most of the time. I said, you show up, they cancel happy hour, you know? That's a Rodney joke, right? I'll tell you, my mother-in-law, she walked into a bar, they canceled happy hour. I don't think she had that joke. They might have something similar to it, but he never had that joke quite that way. But, you know,
that amazes me when you told me that before we went on the air. That that's awesome.
Well, the first was Friendly's. You know, I was driving down the road. I saw a place called Friendly's. They spit in my eye and told me to get out of there. You know, no respect anywhere I go. You know, I know so much of his stuff. It's just like second nature.
It's classic. It's classic. We're hanging out with John Cerbone once again. HypnosisStageShow.com. Go see him this Saturday at the Beth Israel in Hempstead. Showtime is 8 p.m. So yeah, go check them out. You'll not be disappointed.
They're gonna have food and stuff there too.
Well, they better.
Cool.
Yeah. A little wine, you know.
Who's here today?
What?
I mean,
who's watching?
Who's watching?
Carol just tuned in. She says, "Wow, am I late to the show? What the heck, Carol? You missed it. Diane and I were hypnotized. You missed it. Go back and watch."
Move that slider.
Move what?
The slider, the thing on the bottom.
Yes, right. Yes.
You can watch it anytime.
Right. Yeah. So they're all. Fremder, of course, is watching with all of his distasteful
What does
jokes.
he have to say?
You don't want to know.
No? Okay.
Mickey's watching, of course, Romeo, and they're all hit. Don Sill is watching.
Hi, everybody.
Don Sill. There's Don Sill right there. Yeah, all the usual gang is here. Thanks for watching. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. We have 15 minutes left. Don't forget Peter Schwartz today. Peter Schwartz, in the studio with him will be Colin Cosell. Colin does the PA announcements at Citi Field.
Mm-hmm.
He does some work at Nassau Coliseum. And yes, the last name, he is Howard Cosell's grandson. He will be in the studio, and they'll be Zooming with Islanders legend Pat LaFontaine.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a good show.
I have to tell you that Peter Schwartz is a big...
WFAN.
It's awesome.
On Boomer and Geo most mornings, yeah. So that's at 1 o'clock. So, Tuesday trivia time. Random trivia questions that we had. You heard John a little while ago. He said he has all sorts of random trivia in his head, so we'll find out. All you got to do is play. Doesn't matter how many you get right or wrong. They're going to answer it. You guys can put your answers in the comment thread. I'm going to ask 10 questions. I don't give out the answers until after I've asked all the questions. Then we go back.
The pressure is on.
Oh, can you feel it?
Yeah, don't feel
But-
pressure, because it's okay even if you sound...
All you got to do is play. It doesn't matter how many you get right or wrong. All you got to do is play, and then you let me know if you want to see a show here at Governor's or any of the Governor's comedy clubs. I can get you into most of the shows. Not all of them, but most of them. Okay, so with that, question number 1. What was Yogi Berra's first name? Yogi obviously is a nickname. What was his real name? First name.
I do not know the answer to that.
Oh, I thought you would. I really did.
I am shocked
What am I
that I
thinking?
don't.
Gerard, baby? What am I thinking that? I don't know.
Gerard. That's fine. We'll go with that.
I don't know.
All right. If you think of something while we're playing, you let me know.
I don't think it's going to come to me.
What is the color of an emerald?
Green.
Oh, she sounded like she was going to beat me up.
I'm an
Right?
Irish girl.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what
concur
an
also.
emerald looks like.
The Emerald Isle.
Number 3. What is a group of lions called?
A pride.
Yes, correct. I agree. I concur.
Concur. You have Diane's approval. Number 4. Which singing voice is the highest pitch? Soprano, tenor, or baritone?
Soprano.
Yes, soprano, but not Tony Soprano. That's a whole different
That's a
thing.
whole different pitch, yes. What band had a hit with the song All Right Now? Name the band.
Oh.
That's the one.
Is that the Hollies?
John says the Hollies.
I think.
I have to think about it.
Okay.
That's work.
Okay.
Answering that.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6. Who is Diana Prince?
Wonder Woman.
Correct.
Number 7. This is a hard one, but I'm counting on you as a native of Bayshore.
Yes.
Name the president who once spent some time at the Sagdacoast Manor in Bayshore.
Oh, gee, I should know that.
That's a
shouldn't
multiple
I?
choice question. You can pick any president.
Oh, my Lord. I'm going to say George Washington.
All right. You want to take
I think I'm one of the Roosevelts.
Roosevelt's. Okay. Question number 8. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, famous band. Before they were Crosby, Stills, and Nash, all 3 of them came from other bands, big bands. Name them. Screw it. Name one.
Do not know.
Obviously, there's 3, but name one.
No idea.
I ran
Really?
into 2 of them in the street in Manhattan one time, but I can't tell you what
I'm
bands
not
they were
really
in.
a
really?
music trivia person.
I know.
You're
you're a
but
singer,
I'm not
but
like
yeah.
you are. You know a lot of things like that. I don't know that.
I also sing.
Do you?
Cool.
Yeah, we could do a duet later.
Ooh.
2 Islands in the Stream or something.
Oh, we can do that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Now, question number 9. We have 2 questions left. Give me the definition of the word bailiwick. Bailiwick.
We've had this question before.
I've asked this one?
You've asked this question before.
Field of expertise. Really?
Yes,
Really?
Yes.
Damn it.
Yes. I've heard that word out of your mouth
That was a
before.
bar someplace, too. I think in Brooklyn. Bailiwicks.
All right. But you don't remember. Okay.
No, I don't know.
All right. Last question. According to a study published by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, women were more likely to have sex dreams about what, while men were more likely to have dreams about what? Like what kind of people, or
I would say women are more likely to have sex dreams about men.
Okay.
And men are more likely.
Well, all right. Be more specific. Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to say women. Okay, I'm going to say women would have dreams about regular people, and men would have dreams about famous people, celebrities.
Okay.
Yeah, women are more vague, and men are more specific. So usually it's some person they know or seen.
A woman would have a dream about someone she knows.
Right.
And a man would have a dream about a celebrity,
like a fantasy. Right.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. John, you have any thoughts on this?
Women, I think I've read some research in this like 25 years ago.
Okay.
Women tend to pick some vague generalization of a person that they know, or some combination of men they know mixed into one character, and men would find a particular specific person. Yes.
Okay.
Whether it's a celebrity or some woman they're particularly focused on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a long answer.
But
yeah, I know. It took me a lot of writing there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Writer's cramp.
Right. I'll need to be hypnotized to solve it. All right, let's...
Was that all of them?
That was all 10,
Holy
yeah.
cow.
Want to see my watch again? I just have to say watch it. You start laughing, the both of you.
That's right. Let's see. Okay. So question number 1, what was Yogi Berra's first name? Diane did not have an answer. John said Gerard. Carol's impressed with Pat LaFontaine coming on. Let's see. The only person that answered the Yogi Berra was Romeo, and he got it correct. It was Larry. Larry Berra.
I would never have known.
Yep.
I knew that's his brother, I was thinking. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, everybody seems to know. Ann answered. John answered. Yeah, and you guys are correct. An emerald, the color of an emerald is green. What is a... High five?
High five, high five. Got that right.
What is a group of lions called?
A pride.
Pride is correct.
Okay.
Well, nobody... Yeah, I don't see anybody answered that one either. Okay. I see. Ann answered it. She said a den. Sorry, Ann. What singing voice is the highest pitch? Soprano, tenor, or baritone? You guys got it. Ann got it. Yep, it is a soprano. Name the band who had a hit with the song All Right Now. Everybody knows the song.
When you say it, I'm going to know the answer.
It is not the Hollies, John.
Okay.
The Hollies actually is a good answer for another question. Let's see. Did anybody get it? Oh, Ann got it. Ann in California got it. The band is called, or was called, Free. Paul Rogers, who's the lead singer of Bad Company, he was a part of that. Yeah, that's the singer you hear. Who is Diana Prince?
Wonder Woman.
Very nice. They got it. Romeo got it. Fremder, of
Right.
course, says Diana Prince, sit on my face. Okay. Sounds
painful.
Yes. Well, yeah, if it's Wonder Woman, though, I think you're all right with it. Name the president who once spent some time at Sagticos Manor in Bayshore. No, Fremder, it is not Bill Clinton. Fremder. You said one of the Roosevelts. That would be Oyster Bay. You said...
George Washington.
That would be correct. Crosby, Stills, and Nash all came from different bands. Name one of them. You guys couldn't name any of them. However, for the
Hollies.
All Right
Hollies.
Now
Great.
question...
Yes, the Hollies.
Wow, that's amazing.
All right.
There you go, the Hollies. Graham Nash was in the Hollies.
Right church, wrong pew. Okay.
You get credit. It's all right. Yeah, Graham Nash was in the Hollies. Stephen Stills was in Buffalo Springfield. David Crosby was in the Byrds.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Now it makes complete sense.
What is the definition of the word bailiwick? John said field of experience. Fremder.
Expertise.
Sorry. Yes, expertise. Sorry. Fremder, bailiwicks. I went outside and froze off my bailiwicks. That would be correct, my friend. The exact definition I have, a person's area of skill, knowledge, authority, or work. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, field of expertise. Very nice. All right, and the last question. According to a study published by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, women were more likely to have sex dreams about what kind of men, while men were more likely to have dreams about what kind of women. Diane said women dream about regular people or people that they know, while men dream about celebrities. John said women dream about a combination of people they know, while men dream of particular people. Fremder, women have dreams of podcast co-hosts.
You can snatch from me here with a little symbol.
Yeah, you're right. Rim shot, yeah. All right, so according to the American Society of Sleep Medicine, women are most likely to have dreams about politicians, celebrities, or their exes.
That's very interesting.
I was very surprised to hear that.
Okay.
While men are more likely to dream about having sex with multiple...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there
That's
you
good.
go.
If you fall asleep, they can talk to each other. Rodney Dangerfield, right?
Exactly.
So that's interesting because men are the more vague ones. And women
Right,
are more
and the
specific.
celebrities, right. You
I
were
think
said
it's the
that,
other
but,
way.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very surprised myself to hear that. All right, and with that...
Did I win a Pinto? What happened?
What's that?
Did I win a Pinto out in the parking lot?
Sure. Go out. You'll find it. Keep looking. Ladies and gentlemen, John Cerbone, HypnosisStageShow.com, this Saturday at 8 o'clock at the Beth Israel on Hilton Avenue in Hempstead. Go check it out. You will have a lot of fun. You'll do a lot of laughing, and you'll see some interesting stuff going on. So thank you, sir. This was a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
I had
Thank
a lot
you.
of fun myself.
Good.
You.
Thank you. With that, it's time to go. Like we said, Peter Schwartz coming at you at 1 o'clock. Yeah, I got to get ready for that.
Yeah, it's almost time.
It is almost time.
See the time? It's almost time.
Let's see, Peter. And then tonight, Hershey and the Keegs return. They're on at 9 o'clock. Their guest tonight is my Friday co-host, Rosie Fiumar. She'll be joining Hershey and the Keys tonight. That'll be fun. Coffee with the Dog tomorrow morning at 9. I'll be here with Michael tomorrow morning at 11, and it's our last show for the week because I'm heading up to Boston to do some comedy shows
fun.
Thursday and Friday. So
And Sunday's Mother's Day. So
Sunday is Happy Mother's Day to you.
moms.
Happy Mother's Day to you. I hope your grandson gets you something really nice.
Oh, he just has to. I get the cutest little videos of him.
He just has to simply
heaven.
be.
Very nice.
Heaven.
Simply be.
Yep.
Heaven.
This was great. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
you.
Thank you. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff going on here. Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. Don't forget, here at the club, Governors here in Levittown, the main stage, the Giggle Room, the Brokerage in Belmore, and McGuire's out in Bohemia. 3 heavy hitters playing the clubs this weekend. I don't know which one to even recommend. Jim Florentine is here. Mark Riccadonna is in Belmore. Joe Matarese is out in McGuire's. Really, you don't get any better than that. So go to govs.com, make your reservations to some great comedy shows. And don't forget KnockemDeadComedy.com. Like I said, we'll be in Boston for a corporate event Thursday night. Our next public event is Hicksville, June 6th at the Knights of Columbus.
Ooh.
Go to KnockemDeadComedy.com to check out our schedule as well as information on how you can hire us for your event. All right, we are out. We'll see you guys in a half hour with Peter. Once again,